Welcome, welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me. My name is Kayla, and I'm so happy that you're here for this Virgo reading. This is going to be for anyone Virgo as their sun, moon, or rising. Cross watchers are welcome. Flip the energy if needed, and please only take what resonates and leave the rest behind. I don't know what this reading is going to be about. I asked spirit guides and the guardian angels to help me to interpret the messages for you. And so this is going to be a whatever it needs to be reading. Whatever it is you need to hear, Virgo, this is what we got coming. So we're gonna shuffle these one more time, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is the Literary Witches Oracle. I'm gonna do the majority of this reading with oracle cards and just channel messages. And then we'll see what happens from there. If we need to pull tarot, that's fine. But right now, we're going to do this with oracles. So we've got the book, learning something, revelation, something comes to you. It's a lesson. It's like there's so much in this card. There's a lesson. Now, I don't know these cards fully, so I will have to kind of glance at the book every once in a while for some of them, like the braid. I see. You're learning about how you... Okay, there's something about, in this braid card we've got, let me just show you really quick, the braid. So we're talking about identity, survival, and the opinions of others. And what I'm seeing from the card, the book, with the braid, it's like learning how others look at you, learning how, I almost feel, does it matter? I don't know why, but I feel like, does it even matter? Does it matter what other people have to say? You might be learning that other people see you in a higher light or a higher frequency, or that other people see you in a better light than you actually believe they do. The body. This could be the way you see yourself. I get an energy of how I see myself. The way that people look at me versus how I see myself. What is my identity here? What is it that I'm doing here? I almost get a sense of feeling lost. I get this energy of like, maybe not quite sure where to put, where your footing should be. Like, it's like there's so much inside of you, but there may be this need to stifle it because of the worry of how other people see you. There's like this idea maybe that you have. There's something building, okay? There's an energy building inside of you, and I'm getting goosebumps, so I know I'm on the right path. There's an energy building inside of you, and there's like a sense of how other people see me is so important, but is it? Okay, this is spirit. This is spirit, your guardian angels and spirit asking you, but is it? Is it so important how other people see you? Remember that everyone's an extension of us, right? And so if you can remember that, this might be a little bit of an easier transition because you're transitioning into something different. And I don't have necessarily a card that tells me transition. It's just that I'm feeling that energy of like there's something building inside of you, and it's almost like a conflict of how people see you versus what it is you're going to do. And like maybe you're kind of worried that this won't like line up with the way people have looked at you. Maybe you're realizing that people are seeing you in a much better light than you thought, which I think I touched on that just a minute ago. But let's see. Could be family has a lot to do with, oh my God, my back is so itchy. Could be family has a lot to do with the way that that you've seen yourself. I almost get this energy of somebody watching you and saying, well, you've always been this way. So why would you change now? Or like, it's like an energy of, I can't explain it. I know I need to. Let me come up with the words. It's like somebody's watching you and watching the metamorphosis, because I get that too. I get this like energy of like, changing into something different. Something that, listen, okay. I swear to God, that's why I love intuition, because this shit is on point, okay? So I just told you, you know, about how there's something going on within you. There's some type of change happening, right? And you're looking at yourself and you're going, how do I bring forth this change and still be meshing well with the way other people are seeing me, or with my identity, or with the illusion that is, that is cast of me as a person. And I say that I love intuition because I said all that before I got this card, the doll. And the doll says illusion, old wounds, childhood. So there's something about the way, and I just saw family. I swear to God, this is why I love tarot. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I love it because there's so much in it, and there's so much helpful information. So there's something about the way a family member, or the way family members, or the way people look at you. And there's so much inside of you, and it's like you really want to flourish, and you really want to grow, and you want to do something, but you're so fearful because of the way people have seen you before, or like the illusion that you have cast about yourself to the outside world. And specifically, I get family. Specifically, family has something to do with this. Childhood wounds, you know, maybe feeling like you were kind of cast aside, because I feel like a doll, if you think about a doll, you think about, or if I think about a doll, I think about that they're played with for a little while, and then they're thrown to the side, right? And it's like, you know, it was fun for a time, but here we are, you know, bleh. And it's almost like there's like an energy of maybe feeling like you had been cast aside, but yet still worrying about how these people see you. Let's get some more. This is another reason why I wanted to do Oracle, because I knew I could go more intuitive with the messages. There's something about the way you present yourself with this peacock card. There's something about the way you present yourself and like what people see. And I almost get a sense of like, you know, you're as a peacock will be just walking along, and they don't flash their feathers constantly, right? They're walking along and they're doing their thing and they're eating and they're just being, you know, whatever they are. And then all of a sudden they get around certain people and they've got to, or certain other peacocks, and they've got to flash those colors, right? And it's like, no, this is who I really am. And it's a sense of that being a facade. I feel that that's a facade. I feel that very strongly that this is like an energy of you just wanting to be, but feeling the need to present yourself in a certain way. And when you present yourself in that way, you feel a little more comfortable, but at the same time, you're stifling this desire that you have for something. Milk. This is talking about nourishment. This is talking about the way, how you heal yourself. Like, and I'm going to double check on the meaning of this one because I haven't actually pulled milk before, but I just want to make sure that what I fucking say, I swear to Jesus. Oh my Lord. Yeah, there's something about the way you have been portraying yourself, maybe with this childhood wounds. There's this cast aside energy of maybe I'm not good enough, so when I go out into the world, I have to become the peacock. And the peacock, and I'm sorry, my hair is driving me crazy. I fucking hate this shit. Anyway, the peacock is like flashing all its colors, right? And they're but they only do it in front of certain other birds, or even other, you know, other beings that could be around or in their vicinity, right? So it's like a facade. So it's like, no, look at how beautiful I am. Look at how beautiful I am. You don't want to cast me aside. Look at how beautiful I am. But the thing is, like, I feel like there was an energy of like these childhood wounds, parental wounds, things that happened when you were a child where your parents made you feel like you weren't good enough. And so in order to kind of like make yourself feel better, you had to be the peacock. You became the peacock. Look, I've known it's weird how many Virgos I actually know. It's actually very strange. And I've dated many of them. Like, most of my boyfriends were Virgos. I didn't have a ton of boyfriends. I had like 4 up until now, like in my whole life, and I'm not gonna tell you how old I am, but I've had like 4 boyfriends, and they were all but one was a Virgo. I know a lot of Virgos still to this day. I'm close with a lot of Virgos, and what I have to say about them is that there's so much inside of a Virgo that they're so fearful to just be open about. You guys have different ideas. There is something burning within you, okay? And this is, I'm getting goosebumps as I speak, every time I speak. There's something burning within you. And there's just this worry that you're going to be cast aside. Like, somehow, whatever this burning desire is, whatever this thing is that you really want, whatever the fuck it is, it doesn't even matter. Whatever it is, it's like, I get a feeling of, I'm only good enough for a small amount of time, and then I'm cast aside. So I become the peacock, so I'm always beautiful. And so every time somebody who could cast me aside comes around, I can be the peacock again and be beautiful, and they won't want to let me go. My heart breaks for you, and it goes out to you, because there's so much within you, and there is a lot of damage that was done by your past. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's get some more oracle. You don't have to be the peacock. You don't have to be the peacock. You don't. Let me look up this. We got the snail. I just want to look it up really quick because I want to make sure that I'm interpreting the messages as best as I can, but for what you're going to need to know. Okay, and that's kind of what I thought. There's something about, let me look at it one more time, because for some reason I didn't actually fully take it in. And you guys might understand that. It's like you look at something, but you don't necessarily take it in. You have to go back a second time and go, oh, okay. Because I've got all this going on in my head and things I want to tell you. And so I glance at this photo and I'm like, okay, I'll just go back to it. So there's something about how fragile you actually are. That's another thing I know about Virgos. You're so strong. You're so strong, but you have a very huge fear of feeling like you're not good enough. You have a huge fear. There's a lot of fragility within you, like, meaning all of these wounds that you have suffered throughout the ages, it has created a fragility, or you're fragile, as if there's such a need to keep that barrier or that facade up, because you feel like if you let that down, you will be harmed, or like, I almost get the sense of, I want to go somewhere, I want to do something, right? But will that work for the other people that are in my life? Will that be something that lines up with them, right? With those people that are in my life, that are not me, but they're in my life. I have something I want to do. Will that work for them? And if it doesn't, won't that tear me apart? Because there's also a very strong need for you to be everything to your people. Okay, you want to be that strong person to your people. You want to be that fucking rock. Dude, I want to get emotional. You want to be that rock. you don't even realize that you're already the rock, okay? You're already the rock. Like you can, you know, you can count on like hands down, I can tell you right now, you can count on a Virgo. You can count the fuck on them. They are always about making sure that people understand that they're strong and they're capable. And also that they will be there to protect their people, okay? So you're very protective of your own people, or your own, you know, unit, right? Even if that unit damaged the fuck out of you, you're still very protective of that unit, but you're also protective of that fragility within inside of you. So that fragile space inside of you, that's like that tender spot, right? And when I see the snail, and I think of a snail without a shell, and how they're almost just kind of like, you know, out there with nothing to hide into, you know, nothing to, it's a slug. It's essentially a slug, and a slug has nowhere to curl up into and go and hide. With the snail, it's like, you don't want to let go of this shell that you've built around yourself, because what happens if you are out in the open and you need to hide? And it all really goes and meshes well, all of these cards. It's so kind of like a perfect story. And it's also a bit of a perfect storm, because all of this, I keep hearing ego. I keep hearing it's an ego thing. Your ego has built up a wall around you, okay? And this wall has protected you for a very long time, but has it? Let's be honest. Let's really be honest. Has this wall actually done anything for you? It may have kept you protected in certain circumstances, but it's also kept you away from a lot of beautiful things that you could have experienced in your life, because that fear of being cast aside, of being not good enough, of no longer being needed. You're always needed. You're always needed. And also, you have to do the things that satisfy your soul, that nourish you. Otherwise, you're no good to anybody else. Okay? Like, it's just facts, guys. You're no good to anybody else if you're not satisfying your own soul. You've built up such a wall. You've built up such a wall, and it was needed for a time, okay? There was such a time where you had to have that wall, otherwise you would have been crushed, like the snail. And even snails aren't out of the realm of being crushed. I mean, if you've ever gone into a garden and stepped on a snail, you know how easy it is to just crush them, right? So it's almost like to say that even though you have that shell that you can hide into, it's still easily smashed, right? It's still easily crushed, and you can still be damaged. So what if, for shits and giggles, we say fuck it, right? We don't have to be the peacock. Who gives a shit if anyone likes you or likes your ideas? The truth is, Virgo, there is going to be a million fucking people that love the shit out of you. Straight up, okay? There's going to be a million of them. Okay, we've got, what, 8 billion people in the world? I guarantee you at least 1 million of those people will love everything you're doing. That's a big number. Yes, 8 billion is huge, but can you imagine 1 million people following what you're doing? So here's the thing. You don't have to worry about being crushed, okay? The only one that's going to crush you at this point is you. And that fear that you have, that to let that guard down and let that peacock, that big fan, that, oh, look at me, I'm so beautiful, I'm so amazing, I'm so awesome. It's okay to let it down, you know? Because right now, it's time to nourish you. It's time to make sure you're okay. And it's time to be bold, okay? Be bold. This is, Virgo, this is your time. This is your time, guys. I want to check out, I just got the skull, and I just want to, yep. There's a transition going on in your life. There's something big. There's a transition happening in your life. Something huge, a metamorphosis of sorts, where things are going from the old and into the new, okay? And it might feel like slow goings right now, okay? Like you might feel like, God, I'm never gonna get there. Like like maybe back in the day you were boom, 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 and you got shit done. And now it's almost like, man, I'm never going to get there. This is because you're on the timeline of nourishing yourself. Right now, you're in the process of learning what soothes and works for you and what you can do. And it's okay to move slow. It's okay to move slow because the best way to go into something is slowly. And there's a transition. So you're in the process of a transition. The other thing that I see from this skull card, well, what it says is reality and grief. So there also could be a sense of you really grieving some things that you're having to let go of, and kind of the reality of all of that could be very overwhelming. Or maybe, you know, another thing I get is that like that reality is changing for you. Again, transformation, and reality is changing for you. And it's not a bad change, guys. It's not a bad change. It's a good change. You don't have to worry about being cast aside. And any fucking buddy that casts you aside is an idiot. And they don't even deserve to be in your life. But if you can kind of look at people as if they're an extension of yourself, we're all connected. We're all connected, okay? If you've ever worked in a restaurant, this is the best example I can give. I've worked in many restaurants. And if you've ever worked in a restaurant, you'll notice that each week something certain is popular. It's not like everybody got together and talked about it, okay? They didn't all these customers and all these guests from all these different places come together in a meeting and go, we're all going to get potato salad this week. They didn't do that. It's just weird how you'll notice that one week that's all you'll serve. It's like, why does everybody want potato salad? And the following week it'll be coleslaw. And then the following week it'll be French fries. It'll be just something weird like that, where like you just notice that there's these trends. That goes to show you that everyone is connected, okay? You're in a transition mode, but know that everyone's connected. And also know that you don't have to be the peacock, okay? Look at yourself as if you're or look at other people as if they're an extension of yourself. And then you can kind of like mesh better with others. You know what I mean? If you kind of look at them as you. So I used to be really self-conscious of myself, right? And so like I didn't have a car and I was walking a lot, and I would like be weirded out about people looking at me. And then one day somebody told me, look at all of those people in those cars as if they were just you. And how would you feel about somebody walking down the street? And for me, I wouldn't think anything of it. It would be nothing, right? So I started using that idea, and I would walk down the street going to work, and all of a sudden it didn't bother me. It was like, oh, they're just me. And if I wouldn't think anything of it, okay, that's a person walking, then why the fuck would they? We get so caught up in how other people will judge us, not realizing that maybe they're not. You know, it's like we're always looking at the worst case scenario. And what if it's not the worst case scenario? Here's the thing. Optimism is a huge thing. Like, optimism is your best friend. I promise you that. Now, I've never gotten the moon card in this deck, which I know what the moon means in tarot, but I want to double check because I think it's important. And it's not much different. Okay, so here's the thing. And I guess it would be like moon cycles. So things are changing. This moon card is asking you to surrender to the change, okay? To be okay with changing, because this is what it is right now. You're in a process of a huge transformation. And this transformation is going to be for your highest and best good, okay? Like, you're not transforming into anything that's not going to serve you in this next part of your journey. This is actually going to be like really beneficial for you. So this is kind of asking you to surrender to the shit that's going on, right? Let it be what it is and just kind of go with the flow. Don't worry about who the fuck is judging you for anything. Try to look at everybody as an extension of yourself. And how would you feel? Now, if you're judgmental, this is going to be difficult for you. But if you're not, this shouldn't be that hard, okay? If you're not judgmental, then you should be able to go, oh, okay. Like, I don't give a fuck if I see somebody walking down the road. It wouldn't matter to me one way or the other. I wouldn't go, oh, well, I wonder if they have a car or not. No, like, you just, okay, there's a person walking, whatever. But if you're a judgmental asshole, well, then this is going to be a tough transition, okay? It's going to be a tough transition for you. This is asking you to surrender because things are coming to light. There are mysteries that aren't to be solved easily, okay, right now. And this is a part of the journey. So this is part of your next step. There is also a vision that you have for your future. And for this vision, yep, there's a lot of healing happening. You might feel like very stressed out, pained, and like, what the fuck is going on? If that is you, understand you're healing. And it's not easy. Everyone wants to say, oh, healing, it's so unhealed. No, listen, it happens on its own a lot of times. You can't really force it. You can to a certain extent, but this is literally talking about having you break down your barriers. Because you have a wall built up around you, Virgo, and it's saying there's a transformation happening. Be okay with breaking down the barriers. You do not have to be the peacock for everyone. You do not have to be perfect for everyone. You are not going to be cast aside. My girls, I gotta let them out, so I'm gonna have to cut this short, but you're not going to be cast aside, and anyone who casts you aside is not fucking worth your time. I can goddamn guarantee it. And I'm sorry if I got a little out of hand there. I just went a little bit off, but it's true. If anybody who cast you aside is in your life, fuck them. Remove, boot, bop, bye, punt that bitch across the field. They're not even worth it. Anyone who loves you and knows that you're a good person or wants to see the best for you is going to be okay with this transition that you're going through, okay? It's a good transition because it's going to take you, it's bringing you out of the darkness and into the light, okay? So you might have felt like you were really locked into some things, and you might felt like things weren't moving, and you might have felt like you were stuck in cycles, and you're like, what the fuck? Why am I constantly feeling this way or doing this? You're coming out of something, okay? And it's a really tough place to be. I'm not going to pull tarot because I really don't think this message needs tarot. This is going to reach whoever it needs to reach. And I guarantee you guys, like, listen, I know I've just known so many Virgos, and they're just great people. It's just they're always so worried about letting that sensitive place that they have show. It's always like this protective shield. And this is talking about breaking down that barrier, breaking down that shield, and like moving you into your actual purpose. Okay, and it doesn't matter how old you are. I don't give a fuck if you're 90. I don't give a fuck if you're 20, okay? This doesn't matter how old you are. This is about a transformation. You are no longer being cast aside, Virgo. There is a purpose for every single one of us, and you are coming right into your purpose. And you've had to go through a lot to be able to understand and be a part of your purpose, because if you hadn't gone through all this, you never would have been able to handle it, okay? So you have to go through a lot to be able to get into your purpose and really handle it. So I guess this is really just a message from Spirit to say, I see you, I love you, you're okay. You do not have to show off, because you're already beautiful just the way you are. That yes, the process may feel slow, but you are in the middle of a transformation, and yes, some things are kind of secretive right now, so you might not actually know exactly what's coming for you, but I can tell you now, this is Spirit saying beautiful things are happening. You're about to shift from a dark place right into a light place, and I guarantee you within like a couple of months, if that, you're going to start to see all these beautiful things happening. I don't even think it's going to take that long. To be honest with you, my feeling on it is it's like we're like in the month of change. Okay, so I would say within this 30 days, you're going to start to see a lot of shit start to shift, and you may start to actually just accept yourself for who you are. Unless you're one of those that is just so fearful of change that you want to hide back in that shell. And I'm telling you, Hiding back in that shell is keeping you stagnant, okay? If you want something good for yourself, you have to be open and willing and to literally just trust in the universe. It's like having faith, man. Faith goes a long fucking way, okay? It really does, I promise you. So that is what I have for you, Virgo. I hope that you got something out of this reading. If you did, please drop a like. It's a free way to help the channel grow. It's a really nice thing to do, and I fucking appreciate the shit out of it. And then I can get these messages out to other Virgos who might need them and maybe need a helping hand in their next steps in the journey. Also, if you were led to subscribe, welcome. Fuck, I'm happy to have you here. I know I cuss a lot. I hope that this doesn't offend you. If it does, I guess you won't be subscribing, right? And if you weren't led to subscribe, that's okay. I'm just grateful you were here for this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.